Hello, my name is Chandra Jackson, and I will be discussing John Lewis and his years as a civil rights leader. I was born in 1983, so this was years later after segregation. So I grew up in a time where it was after segregation, and John Lewis pretty much fought and protested and marched for the rights of everyone to be treated equally. So in this presentation, I will discuss John Lewis in his years as a civil rights leader. Today we will discuss who is John Lewis, how and why did he believe in desegregation, and did John Lewis make an impact on the world as a civil rights leader. Much of my information that I'm going to share today comes from books and speeches that John Lewis spoke on over the years. Who is John Lewis? He was born in February 21st, 1940 in Alabama. He died at the age of 80 in Atlanta, Georgia. He moved to Nashville, Tennessee to become a minister, and at that time he realized that there was segregation when he was downtown Nashville and decided to become a civil rights leader. At the age of 23, he became the chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and that was from 1963 to 1966. Lewis was one of the Big Six leaders of the group who organized the 1963 March on Washington. This was also known as a Bloody Sunday because we had protesters that were peacefully protesting for rights for everyone to be treated equally, and at this time people were beaten and taken to jail. How and why did John Lewis believe in desegregation? John Lewis believed that everyone should be treated equally, no matter race or gender. As a child, with his parents, he would walk downtown and he didn't understand the signs that said colored or white only, so he wanted to make a difference. He didn't get it, he didn't understand it, so his purpose of making a difference was to walk and march and get committees together and groups of people to encourage the world to do the right thing. At the age of 15, he heard about Rosa Parks, and at 17, he met her. And at 18, he met MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. All these things Lewis spoke on. He said that encouraged him to be a civil rights leader and to make a difference and to end segregation, and he wanted everyone just to be treated equally. Did John Lewis make an impact on the world as a civil leader? Well, in 1960s, VEP, which is the Voters Education Project, added nearly 4 million minorities to the voters' roll. John Lewis also coordinated student activism in the civil rights movement across the South. John Lewis was also known to organize vote registration drives in communities in the Mississippi Freedom Summer. And after this, John Lewis also went on to have over 30 years of service in Congress. John Lewis is an exceptional civil rights leader who fought for what he believed in at any cost. John Lewis was one of the youngest to be a speaker in the 1960s. John Lewis was repeatedly beaten and arrested for protesting and marching for what he believed in, that all men are created equal. John Lewis was never afraid to speak up and speak out. If you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to do something about it. John Lewis.